Alright boys, today's hunt with Mr. Mark Sloan in an old house site. Now it's got mixed history, you know, because it is still standing. I couldn't show any camera video out there much for security reasons. Let me turn this camera off briefly. Alright, camera back on. We both ran DS2s. I ran a 9-inch call, Mark ran 11, and I also ran the Manicore with a M8 call. The M8 call on the Manicore struck this weed head right here. And these two nails right here, one was under it, and one was, this one right here, that one right there was crossed above that weed head. Alright? And the trace on that screen was down toward the middle, and it was the ugliest thing you ever seen in your life. Big old rough ball. And I got it out there, boys. A DS2 could have been over that. Could have been even over it today when we were out there. The first find I found in that side was this little fork here. Huh. Alright, in a high iron area, boys. And Mark, about 20 or 30 minutes later, he dug the bottom part of a little, like, kid's spoon with a handle broke off. Okay, now I'm going to talk about what I found and what I've seen with this detector, and then I'll talk about what happened with Mark. Iron in that side. I did dig these two things right here, but now they give a little bit mysterious signal. Okay, you see them there. And I dug this thing, had the washer on it. They give a splotchy tone. Right there's the only two nails I dug in that side, and they were in the same hole. And I can guarantee you there's a lot of those nails on this site. It is my opinion, truth be told, the only problem with version 1.0.0 on the DS2 is XP should have defaulted the iron tip on instead of off. You run that iron tip on and you see those nails on that machine. One of the things you're going to see is you're going to see that meter trend to a 1 quick. As soon as you hit that high, you know, as soon as you see that high ID and you shift that coal a little bit left and right, you'll see that meter drop. Instantly. That's the giveaway. If you sit there and hover it over the middle of it, or you got iron tip off, you're not going to see this, okay? If you hover over the middle of it, you know, you're going to say, oh, I've got me something good to dig. Yeah, you know what you got, right? I dug a key high iron area. I dug that thing in reactivity 4. Here's a metal Bayer aspirin bottle lid. You know that's got some age on it. Here's probably my find of the day right there. A CAA Air Training Service, and it's still got the pin on it, boys. Look at there. That thing, that and this Bayer thing right here gave the two sweetest signals I heard today. Okay, I did dig some other non-ferrous over here, okay? That DS2 does a pretty good job with tonal nuance on shit like that. Just remember, iron around a cone, you know, that could mess the signal up. So if you're depending solely on the tonal nuance, you know, as far as it being clean, you know, you could get had. I did dig this water. Of course, that's non-ferrous right there. Brass, I guess. I don't know what that is right there. It's non-ferrous, but it looks like it's got a piece of ferrous that's on it. Don't know what that is. Okay, and then this thing right here, I don't know what that is. It's non-ferrous. Now, these other nails here you see come out of a hole. These all come out of holes of non-ferrous targets dug. Those 3 nails right there. Okay. Now, Mark dug a 3-ringer bullet around back. I didn't ever go around there. He dug I guess it would be a more modern era cufflink, but maybe not. It wasn't gold. It was fairly deep with that 11-inch call. It looked pretty. It was gold in color, but it read like in the 80s. And I think I've got a zinc and I did dig a zinc and penny. There it is right there. I dug a zinc and penny shallow on that side. See it? I think he dug one. Neither one of us dug any nickels, which I'm very surprised. I was on the lookout. Some of what you see here, some of this stuff right here, are nickel signals, okay? This thing right here, I don't know what that is. Reads close to what a nickel. I was watching my max frequency as far as where I was on my noise cancel, okay? Meaning there was some EMI in this area, but what I would do is I would know what channel I was on. If I was on channel 0 or 1, I'd be watching for low signals, 59s to 62s from nickels. Higher channels be watching for 63s, 4s, and maybe some 5s, but I never did find a nickel, boys. Toward the end of the hunt, Mr. Sloan got over a target with that 11-inch call. This is interesting. And he said, I believe he said it was reading like an 84, 85. And he wanted me to come and listen to it. And I went over and listened to it with a 9-inch call. And you know, I've been talking about this no notch. So I had a program in my machine with no notch, and I swept over it. I got a deadlock 85. I said, I don't hear any iron tone, and I don't see any low conductive masking. I said, it's ID in the same with and without notch. I said, that's either a piece of this aluminum stuff, like this right here. There was quite a bit of this around there. I said, it's either that, it's a zinc and penny, or it's an Indian head. So he digs the hole. He gets that pinpointer down in the hole. Now, he dug about a 7-inch deep hole. But he didn't dig a 7-inch hole that deep at first. He probably dug about a 5-inch deep hole. He comes out, he says, oh, I got a coin. I said, what is it, a zinc-un? He said, no, it's got green patina on it. Turns out it's a weed head. So I'm sitting here like, what? So he sticks his pinpointer back down in the hole, and he's getting sort of a signal, and he digs down a couple more inches, and he brings out another weed head. I'm like, oh shit, now the plot really thickens. And I'm sitting over there scratching my head, you know, because I know this machine pretty good. So he's holding it up, looking at it. He dug a pretty clean hole, not overly big, not overly small. I went over and swept my 9-inch collar on that hole. On the edge of the hole, there's an 84 signal, boy, just a blasting. I said, that's what you detected right there. So I don't know if he took his hand digger or his glove in hand and went down in the hole, but he moved just a little bit of dirt. Side of that hole, he said, oh, I see it right there. Now, I don't believe it was over, I don't know, it could have been over 4 inches deep, probably 3. So he gets that out of the hole. I said, what is that, a zinc? He said, no, it's an Indian head. Now, I'll be honest with you, and I swept the Indian head with my detector. Those 2 copper coins down there in that hole might have actually increased the ID of that Indian head by 1 point only. But they were depth below the Indian head. There was a gentleman who hunted this site back in the day. He found a lot of good shit in it, okay? And I told Mark, I said, you know, I said, if you'd have pinpointed that hole, I said, well, those other 2 coins down there scattered out, I said, you might have got a big pinpoint. I said, that may have been what happened to that guy if he actually ever stopped on it. He might have thought it was a bunch of junk, you know, with a big pinpoint. Well, we never did pinpoint it, okay? And I never did sweep it in deep high conductor. I only swept it in sensitive FT and fast. We had a ball out there. The weather was beautiful. The only problem is the day had to end, you know? Now, one other thing I'll mention in this video, you know, hey, I got news for you folks. These videos I've been showing with this DS2, being in that site I was in today, they some damn good videos. Well, I set Mark's machine up when we got out there with a fast program with no notch. Okay, and I even set it at silencer 1 for him, and he actually used a sensitive FT. So he gets over this signal, reading 75 in sensitive FT. I said, I said, check out that fast program. And he's up right off the front porch of this house. I said, check out that fast program I put in your machine. He swept over and he said, damn, I'm getting a damn 8. I said, dig that. I was going to show it in the camera, but for security reasons, I didn't since we were so close to the house. Out jumps a piece of aluminum reading 75. So you see what you can get into with that no-notch fast program. It's just like what I showed in the video. That's quite a bit of iron in this area. This whole site's got quite a bit of iron. If I could have turned this camera on to swept that detector, speed 3 and 4, boy, she was rocking and rolling. Where that come from was really loaded. And that's going to conclude the video. I appreciate Mark letting me go with him out there. We had been there once before. He and I both were more greenhorn DS2 users. And just personally, that site was less intimidating to me today versus the first time I took that detector in there. But that old meter on that DS2, boys, can save your ass a lot of trouble in that iron and still allow you to run that machine with a low silencer to unmask some good shit, okay? Take it from the old sharpshooter. Have a good evening.